Good evening, everyone. How's everybody doing?
Good evening, Doc. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to everyone. I appreciate everybody's time. We're starting a little bit late today, but we are still going to go through our discussion as needed. And I know by the time we are done, we are going to get something for everybody's toolbox. Now, the discussion we're going to have tonight is very important especially for all career switchers who are trying to break into the security space. And even if you're in the cybersecurity space already, right, you want to move up, go up to different levels within the cybersecurity space. This is still very important, right? Now, we are transmitting on YouTube. I think that is it. That was what was delaying us a little bit, but that has been taken care of. So we are ready to start. Appreciate everybody's time. We are starting time now. So you are all very much welcome to Eretmis Cyber Chat. We do this every Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. And if you are new to the family, this is your first time of joining us, we are a group of like-minded cybersecurity professionals and aspiring cybersecurity professionals. We meet on Friday nights to discuss different cybersecurity topics, such as what we are going to be discussing about career, how to break into the space, and then also how to grow in the cybersecurity space. And we discuss different cybersecurity topics, right? So you are going to witness that for yourself. And we have a very supportive community. If you need help, assistance, there is always somebody who's done what you want to do or has taken that journey. So they will be able to help you accordingly. Right. So tonight's topic, we are going to be looking at overcoming the years of experience barrier, right? That becomes a problem for most people who want to break into cybersecurity. Now we are going to demystify this and let you know exactly how to go about this, right? So some people don't feel comfortable, like I'm from a different background. I've never done anything in cybersecurity. And we are going to, talk and discuss all of that as we move along, right? So you are very much welcome. I'm Dr. Emmanuel Ledoux. I'm going to be your only pilot for tonight. Everybody else can contribute and also be my co-pilot for tonight. I'm a former United States Army captain. I'm the CEO of Eretmis Inc. We're a cybersecurity consulting firm and a PCI QSA qualified company based out of New York. I'm also the founder of Eretmis Academy, a cybersecurity institute that trains cybersecurity professionals. And this is actually brought to you by Eretmis Academy, a member of the Forbes Technology Council, and then also a former professor at University of Maryland Global Campus and CTC. Eretmis Academy, we are partners with CompTIA, and we are authorized partners. And what that means is that we have a 20% discount for all exams or for all exams vouchers. So if you are looking to sit for any CompTIA certification, you can reach out and we will show you how you'll be able to get a 20% off, right? And then also for anyone, if you've sat for any certifications and you're looking to renew the certification, there are two ways. You can resit for the certification again, or you can use what we call educational points. So if you attend this session that you're attending, it is going to count as every 45 minutes counts as one educational point that you can use to renew your certification. You only have to type hashtag Team Live in the chat and you take a screenshot of that and you should be good to go. Right. And then also we have our Eretmis Cyber Chat group. You can join this. This is where we post everything about cyber chat in there. And then also we have some good discussions going on when it comes to cybersecurity. Right. And we are on school as well. And we are going to jump into our discussion tonight. So tonight, because we are running a little bit late, we wouldn't touch on cyber news, right? But if anybody has any cyber news, you can raise your virtual hand and bring it up, right? So, and also for the arena GRC interview, cybersecurity GRC interview arena, that is where we practice and we master our cybersecurity interviews. We encourage you to join that. That is on school. The link is going to be posted. Now, our upcoming training, the different type of trainings that we got for our GRC hands-on internship and workshop program the next one is going to be starting on the 28th of April. For AI governance, the next one is starting, it's going to be March, it's going to be May, not March. So that is going to be around also May 5th, May 6th. And then we have our cloud security that is starting on May 5th. We have our 7-day challenge, and the next one is starting on the 23rd. And now PCI DSS program is also another one starting on the 4th of May. And our entry-level course, the next session is also going to be starting on the 16th, right? So the arena, we did kind of a mini version of it last week where we had Michael in the hot seat, and Michael was answering some questions, and we could all learn from it, mistakes he was making and, how well he did, the ones that he was answering really well, right? So this is how the arena, last week's is how the arena is going to look like, right? It's going to we put you in the seat, we ask you questions from, cybersecurity professionals and some hiring managers, and we give you feedback, right? And that is the time for you to practice. The time for you to practice your interview lines and really get good at it is not when you have an interview the next day, right? So we encourage everyone to join this. The link is going to be posted. And then also for everyone on here, if you're looking to break into the cybersecurity space, this is the right course for you. The cybersecurity entry-level course is the best course out there, hands down, because it takes you through a very strong foundation in cybersecurity. And then we put you into the workshop and internship where you get to work on real world cybersecurity projects. And that is what employers are looking for, right? It's not just about your certifications or your degrees. It's about what you can do for the most part, right? So we encourage you to look into this if you are looking to, you want to break into the cybersecurity space the right way. Now, for people who already have some training in cybersecurity, maybe you have a degree, a master's degree, but you've never done anything in terms of projects. And doing projects is not just using a tool, right? Like conducting scans with a tool or just using ServiceNow or some other tool to do rigs. That is not, it's good to know how to use a tool, but to do a project, it goes beyond just using a tool, right? So if you've never done any real world project, I don't really know what you're going to be talking about if you go to interviews. So if I've been in the industry this while, and I'm telling you, I don't know what you're going to be talking about if you're just coming from a point of knowledge, you are just going to be talking in circles for the most part, and everybody will know you've not done anything. And even if they like you and they give you the job, you are going to become what I call a walking heart attack, because you are just, you are just waiting for them to fire you. And they're also waiting for you to get high blood pressure before they fire you because you don't know what you're doing on the job. Right? You don't want to be that. If you're in that situation, or even if you've gotten a job already and you find yourself in that spot, we encourage you to join our GRC workshop and internship program. Now, our cloud security program, this also very hands-on for everyone. If you're already in the cybersecurity space, we encourage you to join this program. Even if you are trying to break into it now, you've done your foundational course, maybe you've done entry level, you are waiting to get your role. We encourage you to look into this because every company has something in the cloud. And when to start learning the cloud is not when you already got a job and they want you to do something in the cloud. So this also comes with a lot of hands-on, and you are going to really learn a lot, even if you're already in the cybersecurity space. And for AI governance specialist, I cannot talk about this enough. For everyone on here, whether you're in security or not, you are trying to break into cybersecurity or you're looking for a different career path, you can move into AI governance without even having a cybersecurity background, right? This is a whole career path on its own that you can jump into, right? So we also encourage you to look into this. You don't have to wait. AI is here to stay. So people who know AI are going to be replacing those who don't know how to, work within the AI space. And most especially when it comes to the governance side of it, not you developing or writing the code for AI, but how do you manage risks? And risks in AI goes beyond the normal risks we know for cybersecurity, right? How do you manage compliance? How do you manage governance? How do you manage security for AI, right? Within organizations, they have specific people who are doing this, right? So all those cybersecurity rules are tagging this along. Eventually, they have to make it a standalone, right? So we encourage you to look into this. If you've already gotten a job, you are looking to break into the security space, or you are looking between cybersecurity, AI, you can jump onto this. It's a very comprehensive course. And then for the big boys and the big girls, if you are looking for the 200K, 300K space within cybersecurity, this is the course for you, right? This is what is going to help you break into the, say, 250 per job, 300K space. Eretmis is a PCI QSA company. So at least we know what we are talking about, right? Cybersecurity in general has a really good pay pay rate, right? Average or median salary for a cybersecurity professional is 124K. So it's good money. So if you start off from there, it's good. But if you've been doing that for a while and you want to break into, or even for what you're doing now, whichever job you are in or industry you are in, if you think you are making 150-20 already, you want something bigger in cybersecurity, this is your answer right here. Our PCI DSS payment security compliance program, this is what is going to help you break into that, right? And now with that, we are going to jump into our discussion for tonight. So how to overcome the years of experience barrier. Now, before we jump into it, I'm going to open the floor. What has been your experience, right? You can raise your virtual hand for people who've been applying and for those who are looking to break into cybersecurity. Is this something that scares you? Is this something that you think is going to, be in your way for a little bit, or this is going to prevent you from actually being able to break into the security space? What are your thoughts on this? And then for those who are already in it, who've been able to break into it, you can also at least, share a word or two, right? For everybody to also see how you went about it, right? So any takers on this, if you have any questions on how do I break into the cybersecurity space? Because if you look at every job description, they have some years of experience on there, right? Even for those that will say entry level, they will say, well, you need 0 to 5 years, sometimes like 2 to 6 years for an entry level role, which is a bit funny, but that is what is going on. So what is your take? What has been your experience? And how do we break, or how do you overcome this hurdle? Any takers? Because I think last week somebody had a question on this. Or in your view, how are you prepping yourself to be able to overcome this? Yeah, we still have some folks coming in, so I'm allowing them in whilst still waiting for responses. Any takers on this one? Or you think that is not a problem? Anybody else think that is not a problem? I mean, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 6 years of experience. And if I'm coming from retail, is that an issue? I'm a nurse. Is that an issue? In the Eretmis family, I mean, for folks who've been in Eretmis for a while, this year, in February, we're celebrating a lot of folks. I think every day we're celebrating one person. And all those are people who did the transition into cybersecurity. And they were coming from different backgrounds. So how is that possible? How did they do it? And what does that lead? The 5 years of experience. Okay, so let me ask this question instead. When they say 5 years of experience, do they really mean you should have worked in cybersecurity for 5 years?
No, they don't really mean that. You just need some experience in whatever skill they're looking for. Let's say somebody who is working nursing, so for example, they have experience with HIPAA. They work with HIPAA the whole time, and that's a good skill, and that they can add to their resume and go from there. And for example, specifically to be in healthcare, for example, they have a multiple framework they have to work with on daily basis, and they just need to be able to use that and
Okay,
on their resume. Yeah.
thank you, Renee. Now, what if somebody has been working for 5 years in cybersecurity? Does he or she really have 5 years of experience?
That would
That's not a
also
trick question.
that would
Yes, go ahead,
depend.
Renee.
That would depend on what they're doing. So again, job description, it would depend on what they were doing those 5 years. If it doesn't have anything to do with what is being asked on the job description, it would not. I don't think it's necessarily valid. If they were doing something else, it won't count.
Okay. But so let's even stick with the same job description. do you know of anybody who has gotten a job? Maybe probably they were doing GRC analyst role. They lost that contract or that contract ended and they can't find another GRC analyst role, even though they did that for 3 years. So quote unquote, they have the years of experience. So what is happening? They've been going to interviews upon interviews upon interviews, and
Yeah, I think that can happen. Again, like what were you doing? Were you really doing the job or you were just there? And one thing that we or most people make a mistake when they get a job, they think, okay, I got a job, and they wait for next, like when they quit or they get fired before they do an interview again. And I think that's a big mistake. And we should be doing an interview every time, even though you're not getting a job. And that prepare you for potential next job or you get fired, you know you're already in the process. But when you are not doing that, when it's time for an interview, you have not done interview for 3 years. Your muscle memory is not the same. It's not, you will struggle a lot. Even though you know the material, you won't be able to answer the question in the manner it need to be answered.
thank you, Renee. Anybody else?
Yeah, but how would you get the interview if you're not, like, if you haven't even made it to that? Because the most difficult part that I found is even getting that interview alone. Like, it's tough.
Okay, so George, but we are going to answer the interview side. George, please go ahead.
Good evening, Doc, and good evening, everyone. It's always good to be here. Sometimes what is labeled as lack of experience, it's really lack of evidence that someone can operate in real risk environment. You know, project help, it really helps a lot. But what really changes things is when you can explain decisions you made and the risk behind them. That is what really hiring managers listen for. That's my take. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Now we are coming back to, so if anybody wants to add something, they can also do so. Now let's come to Halima's question of getting an interview is an issue. So before you even get to an interview, right? Now getting an interview is just trying to master how ATS systems work. It's not just, but if you really figure it out, getting interviews, you can get interviews without knowing a thing in cybersecurity. Right. Because what really, is the getting interview portion. For them to call you for an interview, it means that whichever ATS system they were using picked your resume as one of the top resumes that had most of the keywords and key phrases they are looking for in that job description. That is simply that. So if you are using your own resume you created and you don't tailor it to the job description, that is where most, you are likely not going to be, unless of course by some, you are lucky, most of your own keywords aligns with the job description. Either than that, they're not going to call you for an interview, right? Or maybe for that company, somebody was actually looking at the job descriptions, so they were not using an ATS system to screen first, to filter before, right? So that part is I would say is very, very doable, right? Now, when you figure that part out, you're going to be getting interviews like crazy. But the next big hurdle is scaling the interview, right? Abraham, please go ahead.
Good evening, Doctor. My challenge in the course of my application, I've done several applications, is how to quantify my years of experience in terms of, I mean, when you have the job, you get a job and they are looking at 5 years of experience, and you assess yourself and you realize that you have barely few months of internship experience. And so my problem has been how to quantify the years of experience to match the job description in terms of what they are looking at, whether to write 3 years of experience or 5 years of experience. Sometimes an entry level requires 7 years of experience, and it puts me off. I just see myself as someone who's not qualified for the job, and so I may pass it and maybe trying to get at that job. So I don't know how to quantify my years of experience. Would you say that I should always write 5 years of experience, or just 3 years, or how many years should I write it?
Okay, so all that is part of what we are going to be discussing tonight. Right now, when you see entry-level roles that has, maybe 0 to 5 years of experience, or 5 years, 7 years of experience, that should tell you something, right? Whoever did that job description, whoever created it, just did copy and paste from somewhere else, right? So that shouldn't really be an issue. Just apply for it anyways. Because when do they really evaluate your years of experience? Is it because I can say I have 20 years of experience and not have 20 years of experience? Is that what is going to get me the job? Because either than that, then they don't have to do an interview. So you putting, having the good resume and putting everything that they want on there is going to get you that opportunity to interview. Now, it's during the interview that they are really going to find out whether you do have the years of experience, or whatever they mean by the years of experience, you do have it or you don't. So let's get that right. Most people get, like they prevent themselves from even applying to the job because they get, I think, I don't even know like the word for it. They get in their own way, right? Oh, because they are measuring everything, it has to be perfect. They want 5 years of, I don't have 5 years, so I'm not going to apply. Is the application, is the resume what is really going to get you the job? It's going to get you the interview. The resume is not going to get you the job. So the year, don't get too, stuck with the years of experience, and does it really, can I apply? I wouldn't apply. I'm just going to pass over this job. No, because most of the people who are applying with you, you have, who don't even have the hands-on that you have, are putting all sort of things on their resume, and they get called for an interview, and they just go there hoping they are going to recite some facts, and if they are lucky, they'll get a job, right? So okay, Daniel, please go ahead, and then we're going to move into our presentation.
All right, thanks for the opportunity, and good evening, everyone. Based on what we're talking about and what Abraham and some other persons have raised, I might be right, I might be wrong, but I stand to be corrected. Now, like Doctor said, it's not the years of experience that would give you the job. But one thing with my little experience, I realized that getting the job is one thing, doing the job and keeping the job is another thing.
Yep.
Yeah, because many a times you get the job and you are frustrated. You are frustrated, you are messed up, you are scared going to work every day or even logging on if it is a remote job, because you don't have a clue of what is going on. That's number one. Secondly, when it comes to years of experience, there are transferable skills, a lot of them from any sector that you're actually coming from. That's the truth. It all depends on your ability to understand and how to tweak it to sort of make it align to whatever is being requested for that role. Then also, many a times you could get a role where you just go there, you blab, and you're able to go in and all of that. And for one reason or the other, it could be the help of God or whatever you believe, you just realize that you have people there that will just hold your hands, and it happens, but it's very rare. And before you know it, you're able to get into the groove of things. So overall, I think this topic for tonight I'm not sure we'll actually have time to do justice, but overall it is something that is preventing a lot of people. Now, I don't want to sound a bit racist. People of the other color, trust me, if you've been in the corporate world, you realize that a lot of them that are your managers, and I speak from experience. Yeah. A lot of them are managers and what. The experience we have, they don't have it. You know, and I can give you stories and examples again and again. Anyway, I'll drop here so that I can yield the floor to others. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Daniel. So, very good example and good contribution, Daniel. So, just piggybacking on what Daniel just said, I have discussions with all students who have gotten jobs and being in the industry and meeting different people. And reason why, when really pay attention to the discussion we are going to have tonight, right? And get out of your own self. Some people just want to believe or just want to whatever they think it is, even if they don't know, they just want to stay in that mindset and just stay there, right? Especially when it comes to, these areas because of maybe, I don't know, your training but the point that we are trying to make here is for tonight's discussion, be open-minded and don't be afraid to go beyond what you think you know. Or some people also get in the ethical. Some people think they are so ethical to the point that even when you say transferable skills, they are going to look at you sideways. But I never worked in cybersecurity. I was just a manager in Walmart. How is that trans? They just don't want to even, believe it is possible that yes, these skills transfer. Because when they see years of experience, they just want to, it is mandatory, it is set in stone, it is fixed. You should have worked in cybersecurity for 5 years to say you have 5 years of working experience. Right now, if go to all these job descriptions, which of the job descriptions that said years of experience actually had at the end of it years of experience in a cybersecurity role? Just anybody wants to, go online right now and find one and show us. It actually said years of experience in a cybersecurity role or a GRC role or in whichever role. Now, you can also argue, it's a cybersecurity analyst job. So if they say years of experience, then it should be, that is your deduction. Right? That is how we get in our own way. Right? That is your deduction. Because why didn't they specifically say you should have worked, so years of experience, 5 years working in a cybersecurity role? And even if they do write that, they will say a cybersecurity role or a similar role, right? So I want us to all be very open-minded, because the reason why this is very important and dear to my heart is we have a lot of really, really, really great and smart cybersecurity professionals who have gone through Eretmis. They are now cybersecurity professionals because they finished the programs that they came in for. And I'll take them on any contract any day, right? If we have the capacity. And those people, they are so smart, they get in their own way. They get in their own way of, but trying to, everything has to be right and it doesn't feel good for me, doing. But you are just getting in your own way. Now, before we jump in, let me give you some examples to make you relax and, be open-minded. Why would a company employ somebody within the company who is not in cybersecurity to do cybersecurity stuff? Why would they employ somebody who is probably in HR to move them to do cybersecurity? They know they have no years of experience. They have no years even in IT, but they will move them, train them, and have them do cybersecurity job. Does that mean they are so desperate or they don't care about cybersecurity? Well, I guess who has even done that? About 2 years ago, I'm not sure if that program is still there. On the government side of the house, they needed cybersecurity professionals so badly. Guess what they did? They were moving people from non-tech backgrounds, training them for 6 months, and then they'll put them in cybersecurity roles. Anybody heard or knew about that program? But meanwhile, the roles they are filling, if they had to put out a job description for it, they are going to put some years of experience to it. But those people that they move from HR and finance and train them for 6 months, put them in a cybersecurity, those roles that if they were supposed to put job, like the job description out for somebody to apply, they to have years of experience on there. So what years of experience did the people they trained, what did they have to qualify them for that role? Just think about that. And even within the Eretmis family ourselves, we have our very own Michael Knox. He got a job without an interview in the same company he was in, and they knew he wasn't doing cybersecurity. He was a data center technician. And they moved him from data center technician into a cybersecurity analyst role or cybersecurity engineer role, one of those roles. And he had no experience. And guess what? Who did that move? It was the CISO, the Chief Information Security Officer for the company. Because he heard him speak in a meeting about what the cybersecurity folks, the cybersecurity team was doing wrong. Because he had gone through our entry-level course and he was doing the internship. And during they were doing some migration, and he saw that, hey, you guys are doing this wrong. You should have done this. You should have done. He just went off on them because he was frustrated. Long hours working, and these people were not pulling their weight. And the CISO was on there. The CISO heard about this, and the CISO was like, okay. The CISO is no dummy. I mean, to be the Chief Information Security Officer, the last person for cybersecurity, the main boss for cybersecurity in a huge company, $1 billion company, you think that person is stupid or dumb, don't know what they are doing? So if that person had to pick the call, and she called Michael and said, hey, this is whoever, and Michael said, yeah, I know. Michael thought he was going to be fired because of him calling out the cybersecurity people. Now the lady was like, well, I heard everything you were talking about during the call. You were exactly on the point. You were right. They should have done this. So I want you on our team. Once this project is done, I want you to be on our team. HR is going to reach out to you. You know, salaries between that time, I think it's 2022, 90K to 130. You know, HR will discuss the salary with, and Michael ended up taking 130. And Michael moved to the cybersecurity team. So didn't the CISO know Michael had no working years of experience in cybersecurity? She knew. But what made her move Michael onto her team? It wasn't luck, or it wasn't. So I'm just citing all these examples for you to really recalibrate yourself, right? To really see this in a different light. So, and I know people who've been in cybersecurity. One of our students told me about, and our student is currently working. That student is currently working. When she was trying to break into cybersecurity, one of her friends that she used to talk to, he was doing 3 jobs at that time when she wanted to break into cybersecurity before she joined our program and finished internship, and she got a job. Now this guy ended up losing all 3 jobs. For the past year and a half, he's been doing interviews like crazy. He actually did the 3 jobs for almost like 3 years or 4 years. So yeah, we can say he has the repetition of years of experience, 4 years, even doing 3 jobs. Why can't he get a job now? He's going to interview. He's done so many interviews. He has even interviewed for the roles that he was doing, the 3 roles. So why is it that he's not lucky now, or what really is happening? Right. So you can have the so-called years of experience, and still nobody's going to give you an opportunity. And then we have people with the so-called not years of experience, and anywhere they go, once they get a chance, they become a rock star. Right. And now they are the ones teaching the people on the job who've been there 20 years what to do, what right looks like. So this is just to, maybe take you off your high horse, put you down, and let you know the years of experience shouldn't be a barrier to you. And I'm going to show you how and why it shouldn't, and how you'll be able to really use it to work for you, not against you, right? Because if you just go in strictly by your sitting on your high horse and saying, well, it has to be the 5 years or nothing. Well, there are people with the 5 years, and employers are not giving them the role. They are giving the role to somebody without the so-called 5 years. Why? That is what we are going to find out, right? So we first have to find out who writes the job description. That is key, right? So that is where we find all the funny stuff. Who writes the job description? And from my experience and from what is happening in the industry, maybe one out of these three people, right? So the hiring manager, one, HR, a recruiter, or a recruiter. They are mostly the people who will do the job description, right? Now, most commonly, HR and the recruiter, the hiring manager, not so much. They'll give the direction of, hey, this is what and what we are looking for, job title, and then HR will just go look for templates from somewhere, copy somebody's from online. So when you start seeing, entry-level roles, and it requires you to have CISSP, CISA, right? And all the big certifications, and it also needs you to have 5 years or 4 years. You should know where it's coming from number 2 and number 3, right? Because mostly hiring managers are people who are within the cybersecurity space, so they understand what is going on. So they wouldn't put a job description out that says, entry-level role, but you should have CISA or CISSP. Now, for you to get CISSP, it has 5 years of working experience for you to get fully certified. So that even beats. So how is it entry-level? 0 to maybe, let's say, 1 year of experience for entry-level roles. But then you need him to have CISA. If he had been working in cybersecurity for more than 5 years to get CISA, then yeah, I know people write CISA and they just certified without even having I know. So it's not like I'm ignorant, but if you are going the right way, right? Now, when it comes to those ones, people want to get off their high horse and say, well, just, hey, Dr. Edu, can you guys just certify it for me and say I have the 5 years? But then when it comes to your resume and the years of experience, you're like, well, I don't have the 5 years of. But meanwhile, you have CISA or CISSP. So really, what are we doing? Right. And that is all part of the discussion. It's sometimes it's kind of ironic and funny at the same time. Right. So now, knowing that these are the people who write the job descriptions, and for recruiters, for recruiting firms and staffing agencies, they try to put the impossible on a job description to filter out and for them to get the best people who can get them the commission they are looking for. Right. So those shouldn't be the yardstick for everybody and look at that and say, well, I mean, then I'm not good enough for this. I can't do it. I mean, right. So this is just to put this in perspective. So hiring managers, HR recruiters, they are the ones who are doing this. Most commonly, your HR and hiring managers. HR are just going to do copy and paste from somewhere. Just tweak certain things to make it fit the company. Recruiters, they are also going to inflate or just add all sort of things to it just to make sure they are able to screen and get the people that they want to present them to different companies, right? So now let's come to the years of experience itself. So the years of experience or the years of experience number, that number, what exactly are they looking for, right? Is it you simply being in cybersecurity for 5 years or working in cybersecurity for 5 years? Or they're actually looking for something else? Because the years of experience means something. What does it really mean? That is why we are trying to get that tonight. So what it means, if you have what it means, then it means you are good. You can reposition yourself and you should still be good to go, right? So the number, actually, they are trying to communicate something. So for example, if they say they want 2 years of experience, it's not 2 years of just being on then either than that, if a company hires you and you don't do nothing, or you just go in there, you maybe clean table, maybe if they hired you for a driver, right? But you go there now, you are just mowing the lawn, you are just cleaning and making sure stuff are, things are good to go. That is all you've been doing for 2 years. Does that mean you have 2 years of driving experience? You've been working for 2 years as a driver. Did you actually drive? Maybe you probably drove for 2 months. If we add all the driving you did in that job, do you really have the 2 years of driving? right? So it's not just being there, being in the seat for 2 years. That is what they are looking for. So let's say if they say 2 years, what they really are looking for is they want someone who has been exposed to, if we are looking at GRC, to frameworks in real world environment, can work independently, does not need to be taught what risk register looks like or how to use one, right? And this is just to summarize something for you, but for the job description, they are looking for someone who can do all the things in the job description. That is what their 2 years, that is how they quantify the level of maturity and skills they are looking for, right? So when they say 5 years, it's not just you being employed for 5 years or being sitting in a title for 5 years, but somebody who have been able to, maybe you've owned a compliance program, you've done manage vendor risks, and we are just looking at GRC, right? You've been able to present your findings to leadership and break down complex things to, right? So that is what the 5 years, the 2 years means. 7 years plus, they are looking for somebody who is more strategic thinker, so strategic leader. You've been able to run a whole entire. You've been able to. You've done full audits, manage a team. You should be able to work with regulators, manage cross-functional teams. So hopefully we are catching up on the trend, right? So, and then also the last point here is none of the job descriptions actually says that you must have spent the years in cybersecurity job title. Because, for example, even for certificates or degrees, then if you are really worried about the years of experience, that, well, you know, they said 5 and I've not worked in cybersecurity for 5 years. Then also on there, they said you should have CISSP or CISA. Well, you should also have a degree in cybersecurity. Do you have a degree in cybersecurity? Even if you do you have CISA? Do you have everything on the job description they are looking for? Right. So on the job description, it is supposed to be a filter. And most at times we become the filter for them because we are talking ourselves out of those jobs. Right. So if they have everything on there, the things they have on there are supposed to be filters, to use that to filter candidates who are applying. And we help them, we become the filters ourselves. So, I mean, 7 years, I don't have the 7 years of experience. But meanwhile, this same person in your role, maybe you work in the hospital as an administrator. You've been working in a strategic leadership position for the past 15 years. You've been managing people, you've been managing audits, but not in cybersecurity, different types of audits. You've been managing different teams. You've been working with regulators. But that person will get on their high horse and say, well, but that wasn't in cybersecurity. Really? Then it means you don't really understand what is going on. And that is why we are doing this tonight. It means you don't really understand what is going on, right? Then you can never break into cybersecurity because guess what? The people in cybersecurity now, when they got in cybersecurity, that was their first time. Nobody had the so-called years of experience. Nobody. I don't care who. Nobody. Right? Nobody was born a cybersecurity professional. Or even if you went to school. I mean, when did cybersecurity degrees become a thing? When did it become a thing? There were no cybersecurity degrees in 15 years ago, 16 years ago. There were no cybersecurity degrees. Yes, you had your typical computer science, your software engineering and stuff, but there were no cybersecurity degrees. So all the people in cybersecurity now, I mean, some are, and for those who've been in cybersecurity and who really know cybersecurity, they really don't care about cybersecurity degrees because that is not what is going to help you do the job. Now, if you are in now and you want to pursue one, yes, it's good. Right. But the point I'm trying to make is somebody who jumped into a cybersecurity role, even if they were in IT, they were doing something else. So that's something, if it qualified them, it was transferable skills because what they are doing in cybersecurity is not exactly what they were doing in that feeder role, the role that they use to feed into cybersecurity. Hopefully everybody gets that. So whether you are in IT or you are not in IT, it doesn't matter. The first time everybody had a cybersecurity role was the first time. So with that being said, then who is qualified to apply for any job in cybersecurity? If you say you are not qualified, then nobody's qualified. See what I'm talking about? So I just want us to, our mindset is everything, right? How we pursue and how we look at this. So what they are looking for is maturity level, capability sets, and what can you do? And that can be from different multiple career paths and options, right? So how do you substitute for direct years of experience? So let's say we are getting back on a high horse. We want to equate and get directly, how do I substitute transferable skills? 2, you have to build a portfolio of real work. Because yes, if you are a manager in a hospital, you manage different teams, you're in a leadership strategy position, is good. But here, the technicalities of what you're going to do is going to change. So when we say, yes, everybody qualifies to apply for a cybersecurity job, we are not just saying that out of context. We are saying that in a context of you should have had a foundation, at least to break into cybersecurity, get the training that will give you a very solid foundation in cybersecurity. 2, work on some projects. Right. So the next, how to do the direct substitution, transferable skills from any domain, portfolio of real work that you've done. So now you can do the risk assessment. You can work on policies. You can, if you are just staying within GRC, right? You can do compliance. You can do third party. You've worked on projects like that. Now certifications, they are good, but not for the reasons why you think they are good. Some people think if you get certifications, that's it. They give you the job automatically. It doesn't work that way. Certifications are not going to give you the job. Certifications doesn't mean you can do the job. So everybody should get that. Certifications, getting a certification in cybersecurity does not mean you can do the job. Because then you know friends who have 4, 5, 6 certifications, and they are not working anywhere in cybersecurity. Right. Now, what certifications mean to anybody who knows what they are doing in cybersecurity is, 1, it shows that you are somebody who is a continuous learner. 2, you are somebody who has mastered that knowledge, the body of knowledge to be able to scale that certification. So at least you are familiar with cybersecurity vocabulary. You can speak the cybersecurity language, right? That is what that means. And if it has to do with any specific domain like auditing, like CISA or CISSP in operational leadership management side of cybersecurity, it also shows that you are proficient in the language of it, in the knowledge of it. It doesn't mean you are proficient in doing the job. That is why they're still going to call you for an interview. If you have a certification and somebody else does not have the certification, you both still going to go to the interview. It is really during the interview that everything is going to show, whether your so-called years of experience really is years of it translates into what they mean by years of experience, or you are just somewhere doing repetition for 5 years or whatever years in cybersecurity, and they're not going to give you the job. Now, the next thing is volunteer. You should also volunteer for, there are different organizations that you can volunteer for. There are nonprofits that you can volunteer for and do cybersecurity projects for them, right? You can, there are some in everybody's neighborhood. You can reach out to them, go to them, hey, I'm a cybersecurity professional. I can help you guys set up your cybersecurity infrastructure. What are you doing? And you can start with something that is non-intrusive, right? Like setting up policies for them, the structures. Those stuffs are not intrusive, right? But you cannot just go there and say, hey, I'm a security professional, so I want to scan your network and identify the vulnerabilities. How would they know if you're a hacker? Who wants to get into their system right? So you can start with non-intrusive stuff. You can teach them awareness training. I'll come and give awareness training. And for everybody who's gone through Eretmis, at least our GRC internship and workshop, the entry-level course and GRC internship and workshop, in your neighborhood, there are a lot of high schools, a lot of elementary schools. Do you think, let me just put this in, this idea in your head. Do you think if you approach them and tell them, hey, I want to do cybersecurity awareness training for the students, talk to them about cybersecurity, show them what phishing what these types of attacks are and how they can stay safe. Do you think any school is going to turn you back and say, no, we don't need that? They will be glad. And even not just for the students, but also for the staff, because maybe in another session, we are going to talk about this. Do you know schools in the United States, elementary schools, high schools, they are, I think, second or third. They are among the highest industry that gets breached every year. No joke. They get breached. Now, for them, the payout for the attackers are not in the millions because they don't have the money. So they are always departing with some 100K, 80K. It's on the low, so you wouldn't really hear about it most of the times. But they get breached a lot of times in the year. So you think they wouldn't love something like that? Right. But then you are there talking about, well, I'm looking for opportunity. You can volunteer, do all these stuff, and that is going to be part of your portfolio you are building. Right. And even when you go there and you are doing this, you can even take a video of it. You can document it, even put it on YouTube, put it on your LinkedIn. Right. You can just be the training guy or girl, just hop from hospital to schools to you are the cybersecurity lady, the cybersecurity guy. So you think if employers are seeing this on your social media feed and seeing this on your LinkedIn, they are going to question your expertise in cybersecurity and say, well, I looked at one of your training. It was very informative and, well structured, but well, you don't have the 7 years of experience. So I'm sorry, you didn't be able. Really? No. Nobody who knows cybersecurity and who really knows what they are doing in cybersecurity cares about the number of time spent. And I just showed you when they talk about the years, they mean something. The years are not just there, it represents something. And that something is what I've just showed you. They want something when they say the years of experience. It's not just the number of you just being there. Being in the seat for 7 years does not equate 7 years of experience. Right? Because if you go back, let's say, for example, right, for this, if there's a cybersecurity role that says they need 7 to 10 years of experience and is maybe senior cybersecurity, whatever, right? Somebody has been working in cybersecurity for 10 years, but they've been doing maybe cybersecurity analyst in a junior role for 10 years. Do they qualify for this? You tell me. Do they? I mean, they've been in it for 10 years. Do they qualify for this strategic leadership role? Well, it depends. Because if you are really looking just, we are looking by the measure that almost everybody here is using to measure themselves, then they don't qualify. Then most of the people in seats in cybersecurity wouldn't qualify for most cybersecurity jobs. Even sometimes, if you turn around and the same job they are in, they have to re-interview, they wouldn't even qualify for that job, right? So this is just to put all your fears aside and to let you know, this is what is really this is what is happening in the industry. If anybody tells you anything otherwise, maybe they are just, I don't know where they're coming from, but I don't think they work in this industry, right? Now, volunteer, you do some job, and also for internal pivots, if you are within a company, and they have cybersecurity roles there. If you have built enough portfolio of real work that you've done, you can also equally apply for these roles. Right. For Michael, he didn't have to show her boss the portfolio, or even didn't have to submit a resume. But just from how he was articulating what he was doing and what the cybersecurity team should have been doing, which the CISO for the company, who knew what she was doing and has been in cybersecurity for all these years, was like, this guy knows his stuff. That is why she brought him onto her team, right? So this is how you can actually substitute for the direct. If you are looking at direct years of experience, that's how you'll be able to do that, right? So the years of transferable skills, these are some examples. We're going to look at a few. So maybe if you have 8 years of internal audit, you are in the banking side, is directly relevant to 5 years of GRC role, right? If you had 10 years, so for, I think it was Abraham and others who were asking, how do I really rate or how do I peg myself in terms of the years of experience? This is an example, some kind of, example for you to kind of measure how you are going to position yourself, right? So if you have 10 years as healthcare compliance officer, which most nurses are, and most people working in the health industry are, it covers, that role covers regs, regulatory literacy. And you are also, in the health space, you're also doing HIPAA, right? It's the health compliance officers, everybody's enforcing HIPAA. And this will also qualify you for most of the GRC, mid-level GRC roles, right? Now you can say maybe 6 years, 5 years, you can easily substitute that, right? So we are not looking for, like I said from the beginning, it's not 10 years of doing X maps directly to, so you can, for what you've been doing, you can directly map them, not necessarily you being a title holder and being in that space for the 5 years or the 10 years, that really counts. So like if you're a manager in a company, this company for 6 years or 7 years, and you are looking for a role in the cybersecurity side, and you're looking for a managerial role, all those skills, they are transferable, right? So when you say your years of experience, I think now everybody knows better. It's not your years of being in cybersecurity. That is not what the employers are looking for in the first place, because you can be in cybersecurity for all those years and still not know anything or wouldn't be able to do what they are looking for, right? So building a portfolio of real projects, that goes from conducting risk assessment, from creating policies, and the list goes on, right? Conducting audits, third party, right? And then also if you want to move into doing volunteer work, you'll be able to do all that for other companies. And this directly goes to our GRC workshop and internship cohort. If you are done, now I just put that idea in your head, you can start reaching out to companies within your schools, hospitals. These things are non-intrusive, right? Like doing policies for them, risk register for them, right? So you start from some awareness training for them. And all that is part of your portfolio, and that will go on your resume as well, right? So it'll surprise you doing all that. You'll be doing more than what somebody who is being on somebody's in a cybersecurity role. They've not even done awareness or created and delivered awareness training to anybody, and they are never going to do that till they leave that role. They've not done a risk register before. They've not even created a policy from scratch. Ask them today, they're just going to go to ChatGPT and even put in a wrong prompt. Just create awareness training policy for me, which is also even a wrong prompt anyways. That is a wrong. Then you might as well just go to Google and put that in Google. Most people are using ChatGPT wrong anyways, right? And then it will create anything and they just copy and paste and put the company's name on it and they think it's good. The content of it, whether it is nonsense, whether it follows industries that they don't even know and they don't care. They think they just trust ChatGPT for everything, right? Because they don't know. So building a portfolio, this is how real world work portfolio. These are some of the things that you can do in that space, right? And then also we are going to move into, I think we kind of touched on this a little bit when we started, that simply working in GRC or cybersecurity for X number of years qualify you for a cybersecurity role? And the answer is a big no, right? Time in seat is not experience. Like the example I gave you from the beginning, you could have hired me as a driver, but then when I came in, there's really not much of driving for me to do. So you have me maybe loan you more, like maybe clean your backyard or something, and I just sit around and I just go get you coffee, and that'll be it for my day. And I do that for maybe every now and then. I'll do a pickup and come and sit around, not really do much, clean up, it's time to go home, I go home. If I do that for 2 years, that is time in seat. I wasn't driving all the 2 years. The number of times I drove is not going to be even probably equivalent to 2 months. So that is why just years of experience. And that is from the example that I gave from the beginning. How can somebody be doing 3 jobs in cybersecurity? And when they lose all 3 because the contract ended or they got fired from one, or it doesn't matter, they lost all 3. Now they're applying to jobs. They've been doing interviews like crazy, looking for the same roles, not even something outside, and nobody's giving them the opportunity. It's not because they are unlucky. It's because they were what we will call time in seat, because they don't really have the experience to show for it. The employer says 4 years of experience. They have the 4 years, the number 4 years in cybersecurity, but it doesn't equate to what they really mean by the 4 years, which is what have you done? What can you do? So if you can do and you've done what they are looking for, and you can do what is on their job description, the number really goes out of the window, because that is what the number is representing, and you have that already, right? So for your resume, you can say anything you want on there. You can say you have 6 years of experience, 7 years of experience. That is just to get you the interview. It's during the interview that it is really going to show whether what they meant by the 6 years of experience you have or you don't have. So don't, I can't stress on this enough. Get off your high horse thinking, well, but I don't have the 5 years that they are looking. If that is all, if the 5 years meant the number, then the person who actually worked in cybersecurity for 5 years and is looking for a new role, why didn't they give it to him or her? Because the 5 years means something, not just the number, right? So I've talked to all sort of, I don't think there is anybody in the cybersecurity space who has really coached and talked to people more than Dr. Edu. And I can tell you that for a fact. Talked to thousands of people. I've talked to most of you on here, and I do that on purpose. I love talking to people, but I do that on purpose. One, I know what is going on in the industry, but two, to see from the perspective of people who try to get in. And sometimes people you talk, I can put them into different categories. Some people, yes, some have been in cybersecurity before. Now they're trying to get back in, they can't. Others are new. For those, yes, they are in a different basket. And then you have some who have been able to wiggle their way and get a job, and they are a working heart attack. They are reaching out for help, right? And others wouldn't reach out for help in time until they get fired. And now they have to come start from scratch. So I've spoken to all manner of people. So what I'm telling you, if you take it and run with it, you are going to be next on Cyber Chat to talk about, well, this is what I did and I got my role, and in my role I'm excelling. I'm telling you, just take it and run with it. You have to be here with you have to be open-minded, right? And I'm showing you exactly how you are going to be able to overcome this and break into the cybersecurity space, GRC space. So time, I can't stress on this enough. Time in seat. So time in seat mean holding the cybersecurity job title does not mean you have the experience. So you can be in a cybersecurity role, because I know there are some people who've been in the cybersecurity role for 5 years. All they do is, get vulnerability scans and then just move it up to somebody else to do triage. So they are not even the ones doing the scans. Somebody will do it, send it to them, they will repackage it, send it to somebody else to do triage. That is what they've been doing for. And if you talk to them, cybersecurity, I've been doing this for. Really? Now, when they have to go look for another job, and they're asking you about all these other things that the job description is asking for you to be able to do, now they're all over the place, right? So with that, we are going to move on to our next slide. So having the X years obviously does not. So what exactly hiring managers, they are looking for If you are looking at just GRC ownership, they are looking for critical thinking, analytical thinking. How are you able to identify gaps? How are you able to manage cross-functional teams? How you are able to interact with executives? All those are things. What did you build? Right. All those are things that they are looking for. Right. So for the example that we have here, a career switcher who will focus on hands-on, do some projects, real-world projects, build a portfolio, will beat somebody with 7 years of just checking the block, like checking the box in cybersecurity, who's been in cybersecurity for 7 years. Right. And that is why we have students who will go to interviews, land their role, and on the job, they always come back with the same story. Okay, these people don't know nothing. And they are the ones teaching them. They are the ones showing them what to do. These people have been there for 12 years, 15 years, sometimes even 20 years. So it's not the 20 years of, that is time in seat. Time in seat doesn't really necessarily translate into years of experience. Now, somebody also had 4 years time in seat, but in the company that they were in, maybe they were very fortunate and lucky. They are doing all sorts of different projects for them. Yes, they will have and even for them, when we are looking for what employers are looking for, they are not bound by the 4 years. They can go look for 7 years, 10 years tag in terms of years of experience because they've done so much. Right. So hopefully that helps. Now, the years of experience, breaking it down, I think I kind of went ahead a little bit. So they are not necessarily looking for repetition. So not necessarily looking for time in seat, but they are looking for your exposure to projects, maturity in terms of how you'll be able to function independently, work on projects, judgment, real world constraints, accountability, results is key, results. So I can't stress enough on building a portfolio, working on real projects, because that is always going to be the game changer. You are going to win with that. So hopefully, I think even if you don't go over any of the other slides, our point is well made, right? And if you have any questions, you can kindly raise your virtual hand, and we are going to address that as well. So this also goes to speak to, I think almost everything else that we have is almost speaking to the same thing. Now, what employers are actually looking for, we've kind of talked about that. We are going to move into how to position yourself and look at some of the transferable skills when we talk about transferable skills. So from somebody from legal, finance, health, what are you bringing to the table in terms of transferable skills? So from a legal perspective, from legal law, regulatory interpretation, contract review, policy drafting, privacy, right? Now we have one of our very own, Bettina, who is the cybersecurity manager for Newark Airport. She's a lawyer by profession, right? Before she moved into cybersecurity. On her job, they have her do some, legal stuff. And, sometimes she call me and it's very funny. She's like, Dr. Edu, they have to pay me for the lawyer stuff that I'm doing. And the lawyer stuff she's doing is in cybersecurity. It's not like she's going to the legal team and working with them, but she's doing lawyer stuff in cybersecurity, right? So that goes to show you there is something for everybody, regardless of whatever background you are bringing. For accounting, finance side, risk quantification, audit methodology, they do SOX already, internal controls, framework, GR. So for them, it's very transferable. Health side, HIPAA. You are HIPAA experts, patient data governance, regulatory, compliance culture. Project management, cross-functional coordination, working with different teams, documentation, military side, security clearance are valuable. Now, in the military side, you have that security mindset already, right? Risk management, risk mitigation you do on a daily basis, HR, security awareness programs, awareness training, insider threat governance, communication, and the list, we can go on and on and on for different backgrounds, right? Now, everything that we've said is, my take on the industry and what is really also going on. And from my experience talking to everybody and their mom, from people trying to break into the cybersecurity space, already in the space, people who are struggling on the job, and recruiters and companies and contracts that we work on. So, but what is the market really saying in terms of research, right? Every year there is a whole bunch of cybersecurity workforce reports that goes around. ISC Square, they have a very good one. And for the one that they recently did, I think for 2025, they would normally, do a survey of hiring managers, different people in the cybersecurity space, and 51% of hiring managers in this survey or in this study or report, they said they are accepting more applications from applicants with non-cybersecurity background, and 41 are actively recruiting non-tech people in the organizations within the organizations to move into cybersecurity. So what I'm saying and everything that I've said so far is not just Dr. Edu just saying stuff. There is also reports, and you can look for this, the ISACA report, workforce, I think is the workforce report for 2025. You can look for that and go through this yourself. And that is a survey that they did. And I think we probably discussed that ending of the year last year or thereabout, or early this year. I don't really remember, but we've done a cyber chat on it. Right. So if all the hiring managers they interviewed, 51% accepting more applications from non-cybersecurity background. So these people don't know their job descriptions, say years of experience, because they know something you don't know. That is why you are talking yourself out of these jobs. Because when they say the years of experience, they know what they mean by that. Is to be able to quantify what you can do in relation to what they are looking for and what you've done, not just the number of years being in seat. Right. And 41% of them are also actively recruiting within the organization. Now, the people they are recruiting within the organization, what is their years of experience? What are the years of experience that they have in cybersecurity? But when they recruit them into cybersecurity roles, are they able to function? Of course, yes, based on the type of training that they are going to be given, right? And then also, one thing for you to look at, so they also noted that around in 2023, and that number has obviously went up to this point, 48% of new people who were getting into the cybersecurity, joining the cybersecurity workforce, were between the ages of 39 and older, right? So for almost everybody getting into cybersecurity, for those who are a bit 39 and older, they are obviously coming from a non-tech background. Even if they have some tech background, they have not had a cybersecurity role before. So they are all new, right? So even if somebody is from a tech background and you're not from a tech background, you are all new in cybersecurity. Yes, they know some IT stuff. They know some stuff that are technical in cybersecurity that they will benefit from, but still, they've not had a cybersecurity role just like you, right? So this is an increase, and it has been also in 2025. I think that was also an increase, and that is just me saying I think it was an increase. Now, KPMG also did their cybersecurity survey. They found 53% of leaders, they cite lack of qualified candidates as a high impact challenge for them. And then also promoting, that is what is driving the monies in the salary, in cybersecurity. So higher compensation, more internal training, and picking from internally also as well. And then relying on external partners to also help fill that gap, right? So, and the budget for cybersecurity, their survey has increased by 98% for most companies. So it means they are still hiring, right? Now, how do you stay competitive as a career switcher? Using everything that we spoke about or that we discussed up to this point, right? So the strategy here is to really to differentiate between these two. So selling years of experience to selling repeatable impact. So you have to shift from that years of experience, just the number or like the years of being in seat is not what you are selling to the companies that you want to work for. Is what you've done and what you can do in relation to what they are looking for, right? So your portfolio becomes what is going to really show the evidence. And your portfolio, so maybe they might not, during your interviews, you are demonstrating your portfolio based on your answers, right? So even if they don't submit the paperwork or something for them to see, or your social media or your GitHub, you are the portfolio, not what you put together on paper. So if you cannot articulate and talk about what you've done, and that is why we are doing the arena, cybersecurity GRC arena, where you get to practice your interview lines, polish up, right? But you cannot polish up and practice your interview lines without doing something. So if you've done something, then it becomes easier to talk about, to polish up, right? So some people have done something, but also when it comes to articulating and putting it in perspective, it becomes a bit of challenge. That is why we are doing the arena, to help everybody out. So you don't get in that space of you have what it takes, but maybe your interview skills, is not getting you there, right? So hopefully this session has really kind of put your fears to rest or to sleep for good, right? Now, also it is a summary of some of the competitive strategies. So no GRC title on your resume. For the solution to that is you have to reframe your existing experience using GRC vocabulary or cybersecurity vocabulary. So years of experience gap, you build a portfolio, you volunteer for work, you join our GRC internship and workshop. So although that is 10 weeks, 12 weeks, what you gain within the 10 weeks, 12 weeks in terms of what you are doing is more than 6-7 years. Somebody has been in 6-7 years. 10 years, they don't even have that level of exposure when it comes to projects and experience, right? So don't just look at it, but I just did the workshop and internship for 12 weeks. But somebody has also been on the job for 10 years and they've just been doing one thing for 10 years, right? So compare the two. It's not your time in seat. It's what you've done, the portfolio you are bringing to the table. That is what they are looking for. Now, ATS systems, when you apply to jobs, your resume is going to go through an ATS system. The ATS system, you have to play the game. It is looking for keywords, right? So if it's whatever certification they have on the resume, even if you don't have it, you have to put it on there and put in progress. It means you don't have it, but you might be working on it, right? And that is just to, get the ATS system to pick those keywords as well. So that is a way around it when it comes to your resume. We can strategize and polish up on your resume more. Now, once you get that resume, side down and you are getting interviews, then we move into the next stage of interview prep, right? Technical credibility gap. So that still goes into the portfolio side, interview competition. So interview, you have to practice, case studies. What did you do? Answer your questions in the STAR method, situation, task, action, results, industry specific hiring. So you can also target specific industries. Mostly, if maybe you're a nurse, you do cybersecurity, you become very proficient at it, you've done some projects. When you go back to the health side, it's easier for you to leverage because you understand their lingo anyways. So you understand the nursing, because a hospital will pick a nurse who is a cybersecurity professional now than a cybersecurity professional who don't know about the health industry. Just think about it. Any industry that you are coming from, you can turn back and go to them as a security professional, and they'll pick you because of your years of experience in that industry, right? So as we are about to wrap up, if you are looking to break into cybersecurity, based on everything that we've discussed today, it's very possible. Years of experience shouldn't be a barrier to anybody. And we encourage you to look into our cybersecurity entry-level course. It's the best course that is going to make you a cybersecurity professional within the shortest possible time. The shortest possible time being within the range of almost 5 months, right? And that is if you are following everything and learning, putting in your best and learning, because there is no trick to this. There's no magic wand. It's not just because you registered, everything is going to happen even if you don't do anything. Yes, you put in the work. It is well structured in terms of everybody who's gone through this, very well structured. You go through foundation in cybersecurity, then we move you into doing internship and workshop. You work on projects, become very proficient before you jump into the job market, right? And when you get a job, you are going to be the one teaching people on the job. And then for the internship and workshop, this is the second portion of the entry-level course, actually. But for people who already have some training elsewhere, you have a degree, a bachelor's, a master's, but if you've never done any real-world projects, this is the place for you. And if you've done a couple of multiple trainings out there, and during interviews, you quickly realize you have nothing to speak about, you are just speaking from theory, this is the place for you to be. This is where you get your hands dirty working on real-world cybersecurity projects. And for folks who are already in the industry, or if you are in the IT space, you want to branch into cloud security, this is the best course for you also as well. Very hands-on. All our programs are hands-on because we are industry players. You know, cybersecurity is not just about theory, it's about doing, right? So, and for AI governance, if you are still waiting to get in the AI governance class, I think you might be late in the very few months to come, because if you are looking to break into cybersecurity, but now you've decided to do AI instead, AI governance is what you should really look at, right? Even more so than going to learn your coding to develop AI. AI governance is how we manage the risks, compliance, governance, and more of the AI tools that we use, and how to secure the AI tools as well. If you're already in cybersecurity, I cannot speak about this enough. You have to get into this program, right? This is what is going to help and set you apart from everybody else. And then for folks who want to play the big boy, big girl game, you know, earn 200K and up 250 in one job, not doing two jobs, this is the program for you. The PCI DSS is a niche within cybersecurity. It's arguably the most lucrative niche in the cybersecurity space, right? And we are going to wrapping up our WhatsApp group. You can also join. The link to join the arena has been posted. So if you are looking to join the arena, you are looking to practice your interview lines, get proficient at interviews. It comes with a subscription of, I think, $89 a month. And every month we are going to have 4 sessions where we put somebody in the hot seat. We interview the person, they get feedback, and we have a panel of at least, every time it's going to be 4 or 5 cybersecurity professionals who are going to be interviewing you. And some of these professionals, some are hiring in their companies as well. So they are hiring managers / whatever role they are in. So we give you real feedback. And then your colleagues, it's going to be sessions like this. So your colleagues can also give you feedback. Even if you're not in the hot seat, you are going to be learning also as well, right? So on that note, if there are any questions, you can kindly raise your virtual hand and bring it up before we wrap up. But hopefully everybody got something out of this. Now your fears and preventing yourself and getting in your own way, all of that is going to go away, right? Hopefully you are going to at least get this with an open mind and be able to move with it. Victoria, please go ahead.
At the beginning of the class, you mentioned how to report our CPE. With ISACA, they don't take that code that you put on the chat. So how do we report to ISACA?
Also for ISACA, they will ask for the number of, like the type of training. Was it a webinar? Was it? And you just put the details and stuff on there.
Okay. Also for our 7 days AI challenge. Yeah, I've been asking for the certificate, so the attendance certificate, so that I can.
Oh yeah. The sets are ready, but just the sending out was what was delaying. But hopefully by tomorrow they are going to send all of that out. Your sets have been ready for almost a month. Yes, it's ready. Yes.
Thank you. So for this one, I can just describe it to ISACA?
Yes. Mostly for ISACA, you just they have like a drop-down menu. So you are going to select whatever you are using for the recertification.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, but mostly for CompTIA, they'll have you upload the screenshots and stuff. Right. Lionheart, please go ahead. And that is what you have on your tag, so it's not.
Yeah, good evening, doctor. That's my name.
Okay.
How you doing?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Great. How about yourself?
I'm very fine, thank you. Thanks for the lecture. Really appreciate it. What I want to ask about is that for your PC, yeah, is it in combination of with GRC or just?
Okay, so I mean PCI itself falls under GRC bigger umbrella, but what we are teaching is, I mean, for the skills and techniques we are teaching is everything GRC, but it's specifically PCI. Hopefully that makes sense, right? But if you want, like, you want to work on different GRC projects, then it's going to be the GRC internship and workshop, right? But the PCI, we are teaching strictly PCI, right? Because PCI is a whole country on its own.
It's a whole country on its own. Okay.
Yes, because we have PCI roles. People are PCI compliance managers in the organization. All they do year long is PCI. They are not, although they fall within the cybersecurity team or the GRC team, they are standalone, right? And there's a reason for that, because PCI is more complex than other frameworks, and it's very hard to navigate, and it's a high visibility item for organizations. That is why PCI comes with the big money, because if you fail your PCI compliance audit, guess who is going to know about it first? Your CEO. No matter how big the company is, CEO is going to know about it. So if you're in a PCI role and you are always, kicking some behind, and you guys are passing and you are passing on time, guess who's going to know about you also as well? The CEO and everybody in the top management. Right. But if you don't know what you are doing in PCI, also guess who's going to know? Everybody in the top management is going to know you up to no good.
Okay.
Yes.
So for someone considering either of the two, what would you advise?
Oh, it depends on your background. Like, what are you in cybersecurity already, or have you done some training, or you're trying to start from scratch in cybersecurity?
No. At one time I was, but I'm more into product development now. But
Okay.
but
So
yeah.
if you are not totally new to cybersecurity, then you can join the PCI class.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
But if you are totally new, and that is what will let you know we are not just selling a course. If you are totally new to cybersecurity, we would not allow you into the PCI class.
No, I'm not totally. I'm not totally.
So not to you, but to everybody else, right?
Okay.
But if you are just selling a course, then yeah, you don't need any background, just come in. And once we are done with the course, that is when you wouldn't be able to work anywhere as a PCI anything. And that is what happens to most people, because you just get carried away by all the glimpse and glamour on social media. We will do this, and within this short time, once you've done that, is when you quickly realize they put the first one on you, right? So hopefully, any other questions before we wrap up for tonight? And hopefully everybody will take this and run with it, right? So whether you're already in cybersecurity, whether you've done your training with Eretmis, or whether you are looking to get into it, put this in your toolbox. Years of experience means something than just years of being in the seat. And that is what employers are looking for. That is why if I put on my resume that I have the 5 years they are looking for, Abraham puts on there that he has maybe more than the 5 years, 7 years, they are going to call both of us to an interview. Yes, during the interview, that is where they are going to evaluate your 5 years, so-called 5 years of experience or 7 years of experience. Right. So it's not just so you can put anything on the resume to get the interview. If that is what you want to do, that's fine. But during the interview is where they are going to determine who actually has what they are looking for, that they tagged as 5 years of experience or 6 years of experience or 7 years of experience. So don't talk yourself out of applying to any cybersecurity job. If you read a job description per your training, you think you can do it. And even with that, if you can do about 60% of what is on the job description, you are good, right? Because if you want to talk yourself out of everything, then if there is a job description that says 0 to maybe 1 year of experience or 6 months of experience, and you think, yeah, I think this is for me. But then you look and they are like, well, you should have Security Plus, Security Analyst, CISA, and you don't have any of those. Are you also going to not apply? You are never going to have everything that is on a job description. Nobody does. So even when you make the job description yourself, you are not going to have everything that is on that job description. So let's get out of that mindset, right? And apply to the job. Go to the interview. That is what matters. Is during the interview, they'll let you know you don't meet what we are looking for the years of experience we are looking for, or you meet it. So don't talk yourself out of anything, right? Because then you are helping them. They put all those things on there to prevent people from applying, and you're also buying into it, very well. So hopefully that helps everyone. We are wrapping up for tonight. Appreciate everybody's time. The links to set appointments and stuff, the link has been posted in the classroom, in the chat, so you can take advantage of it. If you put team hashtag live, kindly take a screenshot of it. And on that note, we are going to meet same time next week and for another edition of Cyber Chat. And you're always going to get something for your toolbox. So if this is your first time of joining us, when you join us, your time is not going to be wasted. You are going to gain something meaningful from this, right? Atta, please go ahead.
Yeah, hello, Doctor. I just want to know about the team live. So you said we should take a screenshot and that's it?
Yeah, if you take a screenshot of it, when it's time for your certification renewal, most especially for CompTIA, you just upload those on there. And so if you take a screenshot, if you stay all the way through, you're probably going to get 2 points. So if you do enough of this, you get more points. And I think for CompTIA, you only need 50 points for 3 years.
So I've been joining and I've not been taking the screenshots. That means I lose all the credit.
No, I think even if you go back on YouTube, you can type that in the YouTube feed and still take screenshots of that, and that should still count.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. Have a great and wonderful rest of the evening, and we are going to meet same time next week. Stay blessed and stay safe.